Hi, so I want to introduce you to my dog training tips and tricks playlist on my channel, where I will be showcasing some of the tricks that Cookie can do, and I may be putting up some training tips on how to teach that. I may also be putting up some tips on dog care. So when talking about dog training, I don't subscribe to any particular style of dog training. You know, some people say they're shapers or lures, positive reinforcement only, whatever. I do what works, and not every dog learns the same way, and not every technique works on every dog. And my dog Cookie has really challenged me a lot in that area, because she doesn't really learn the same way other dogs that I've trained. She really does challenge me a lot, and different things that I've tried to teach her, that I have read books, watched the videos, even got paid other professional trainers to help me teach her, and there are times where she just doesn't get it. And then all of a sudden one day I'll think something weird out of the box, and I'll say, well, let's try this, and I'll try it, and it works great. And, you know, is that a part of latent learning? I don't know, maybe. Or it could just be that that technique clicked with her. So you have to remember that, like children, dogs are individuals. Not every technique works with every dog. Not every dog is motivated by the same thing. Some dogs like treats. Some dogs like toys. Some dogs like praise. Cookie is very food motivated. Oh my goodness. Like, it's just... she would run into a burning building to save a chunk of cheese. With her, it's all about food. I've tried to use food to teach her to like toys, to do tug as a reward, and she couldn't care less, unless the toy is filled with food. So, also with training videos, if anybody's ever noticed that whenever you watch training videos online, almost all the time they're using a dog that already knows the trick, so you don't really get a true idea of how it's going to work, or if that dog doesn't respond, then they have to change their technique for that dog for the video. You almost never see that. And I hate to say I'm going to be guilty of that too, because Cookie already holds 3 AKC trick titles. So a lot of the stuff that I'm going to be showing you, she already knows. You're not going to get a true evaluation of how to do it, but it's just to give you some guidelines and some encouragement. And I will be doing some stuff that is brand new with her, and I did find some old videos of when I was first training her with some tricks, so you'll get a little bit of an idea of what I was doing and how it was going. So keep that in mind. Also keep in mind that there might be physical limitations in some of the tricks that you might want to teach your dog. Now, Cookie is very athletic, but she does have some back issues. So there are certain tricks involving her back that she doesn't always want to do, and I don't force the issue. And you may have a dog that is just not athletic, or is, because of their body shape, like dachshunds might not be able to do the same kind of tricks as some other kind of dogs because of their long backs and short legs. So keep those things in mind too. So some of the things that I will be teaching Cookie might be easy for her because she's very athletic and very strong. Don't expect the same thing for your dog. You train the dog you have, not the dog that you want. So whatever dog you have, you train that dog in a way that's good for that dog. And if there are certain things that your dog just does not like to do, or can't do, or doesn't want to do, you know, unless it's a life or death issue, let it go. I mean, there are certain tricks that I wanted to teach Cookie, and she just couldn't get it, or didn't like it, or didn't want to do it. And I go, you know, let it go. Have fun with your dog. You should be having fun. The dog should be having fun. If you're doing something training-wise and you're not getting anywhere, you tried a couple times and it didn't work out, you know, take a break and go play. You know, don't stress out over it, and don't ask for perfection in the beginning. A lot of these tricks take a very long time to teach. Some of them, boom, like that, they get it. And a lot of the tricks that I teach her are like in layers. So you're gonna take pieces of the trick, teach them a small part of it, and then build on that. It's not just You know, when I taught her to play dead when I shoot her, it wasn't just, I went bang and pushed her over. It was nothing like that. There's a lot of different layers to it, a lot of different pieces. And each foundation that you teach, you can build on and use for other tricks, like paws up. Teaching her to put her paws on something is a great foundation trick that you can use for so many other tricks. So, you know, start simple, start easy, and have fun. That's the big thing. Have a good time. If you and your dog aren't having fun, you need to stop and try again another day. Okay, so be blessed. I wait for your comments, questions, suggestions, whatever. But be nice, be polite, don't be rude, because I'll delete you. And have a good day. All right, be blessed. Thanks. So this is kind of like a introduction part 2, because I watched my introduction and there's a couple things I wanted to say, and rather than redo it, I'm just going to add this in at the end of it. So when I said that certain tricks and things, you can let it go if it's not that important and you're not having any success. Well, for tricks, that's okay. You know, tricks are supposed to be for fun. So if you're not getting success, I mean, it is okay to just let it go and say, you know what, we don't really need to do that anyway. Obedience behaviors is a little bit different. When you're training obedience, I mean, obedience, there are behaviors that you want to really keep at it, and if your technique isn't working, maybe try to find another technique, because behavior and obedience could be a life or death thing. You know, your dog's running out chasing a squirrel and he's ready to cross the street in front of a car. Leave it or stop or come or whatever is really important. So when it comes to behavior and obedience, that's a little different than just trick training. Trick training is for fun. It can help you in obedience training because it teaches your dog to focus on you. It builds your relationship. I think that's why I like trick training the most, is because it really builds the relationship between you and your dog. You become partners and you're working together, and there's a trust there. And so trick training can help your obedience training. So the two go hand in hand. But if your dog doesn't learn to balance a treat on his nose and flip it up in the air and catch it, it's not the end of the world. So don't stress out over it. It's for fun. You and the dog both should be having fun with trick training. What was the other thing? I don't know. I forgot. Okay, I guess that's it. Have fun with your dog, play, and remember, it's all about the relationship. Everything that you do with your dog, you're building relationship, and you don't want to do anything that's going to hurt that relationship. I don't use punishment. That's one thing I will say. When I said I don't subscribe to a certain type of style, one thing I will say is I do not use punishment when it comes to obedience training or trick training, because I don't want to do anything that's going to hurt the relationship. Now, as far as negative reinforcements and things like that, okay, when I ask her to do something and she doesn't do it, well, then she doesn't get her treat. Is that negative? Well, yeah, I guess in a way, because she's kind of like, hey, I want my treat. Well, you didn't do it right, so you don't get your treat. But there's no punishment. I was in a trick training class, and I was using my hand to kind of guide Cookie into position. I wasn't pushing her, I wasn't forcing her, but I was just trying to put my hands on her and just kind of gently giving her a little pressure, you know, just doing a little, let's see, I don't know if you can see, like just, you know, like going like this, you know, just giving her a little pressure. And the teacher of the class like flipped out on me totally. And I asked her, I says, did you ever train horses? And she says, well, yeah, why? And I was like, well, you know how when you put your hand on the horse or your knee on the horse and you push a little bit to guide them? Nobody gets upset over that. But when you do that with the dog, everybody goes, oh my gosh, you shouldn't do that. Some dogs, I will admit, hate that. And so, yeah, doing that with that dog would be bad. it would be considered almost like a punishment. But some dogs like that. And Cookie is very used to having my hands all over her. And she finds that very reassuring. When she gets upset over something, the first thing she does is comes over and leans on me. And I'm supposed to put my hands on her and hold her and hug her. So using your hands to kind of guide them into position a little bit, I don't have a problem with. Some trainers will hang you for doing it, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Are you coercing? I don't know. You're guiding. Like, I've had people guide me with their hands or hold me in position to teach me something, like mountain biking classes I've done. I've had, you know, instructors like hold me while I'm trying to learn something, and I wasn't offended by it. And some dogs will be, some dogs will not be. Judge your dog, you know your dog, and but it should all be about fun. No fear, no negative repercussions other than you didn't get the treat if you didn't do it right. And it should all be about fun and building the relationship that you have with your dog. So think about that. If what you're doing adds to the trust, then that's a good thing. If it's going to take away from the trust, then you need to rethink your methods. Okay, so I think that's it. I think that's all I wanted to say. Have a beautiful day, and smell the lilacs. It's wonderful. Okay, be blessed. Thank you.